If it happens in wrestling, it happens here. This is the Superkick Society. Welcome in and welcome all to the third ever episode of the Superkick Society. I'm your host, Ken Sterling, joined by the wonderful, the lovely, the charismatic Joshua Alderman. Josh, it's been a bit of a downer compared to the retirement of John Cena. Um,
And
but
our
we still
year-end
got
awards.
our year-end awards, which was immaculate to say the least. But in what is a recovering week for both brands, we do have a PLE to cover that just closed up as we're recording this podcast as
hmm
AEW World's End. So let's get some quick thoughts on that.
All right. So I was able to watch it live on pay-per-view, so I did make some notes as they were going through the matches, and I mean, you don't get a better opener on a pay-per-view any era than Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita.
The match
Good
we've been waiting for
Lord.
all year.
We, as fans of wrestling, have been frothing at the mouth to see these two behemoths throw down, and oh, it was peak. It was peak. There's no better way to describe it.
We got edged a little bit at All Out with Masca Dorada getting put into
Mm.
the mix in a triple threat that was arguably match of the year across the wrestling world. So to think that these two legends are going at it like they are completely identical styles, and we have been
hmm
waiting for this since they have both come into AEW, and we finally get it, and it was perfect. It's
It
perfect.
somehow exceeded expectations, and the bar was already going to be set high in terms of those expectations. Like hard hitting, it's that Japanese style that you mentioned. These two work exactly the same, and Okada may have been like the GOAT of the last 10 years. Takeshita is going to be the future of the next 10 years. Okada was the past, Takeshita is the future, like global face with his triple contracts with New Japan and DDT over in Japan and AEW over in North America. This guy's got it all. He's got the tools, the presence, everything to succeed. But it was Okada that picked up the win after a screwdriver assisted Rainmaker to pick up the win. Now, in the moment, that kind of felt cheap to me, a little bit of an undercut after a truly outstanding match. Genuinely might make me switch my vote for singles match of the year. But that parlayed perfectly into the next match on the card, Jon Moxley versus Kyle Fletcher. Now, for those of you keeping up with the Continental Classic, these are the two semi-final matchups. So Okada beats Takeshita to move on to the finals, where he'll defend his tournament crown, and then it's Moxley against Fletcher. And man, that was awesome. You got underdog, kind of an anti-hero element getting starting to build from Mox in this match, and this vicious monster coming out of Kyle Fletcher. Like he'll do anything it takes. He'll kick you when you're down and spit in your face. Like the guy is a heel to the umpteenth extent. A lot more brawling, a little more vicious. Like Fletcher is a killer. Mox is the perfect, probably up there with like Mick Foley in terms of underdog comeback guys who, work most of their matches down, but then come back, fight hard, and deliver a satisfying finish. And that finish, again, keeping in line with the first match of the night, Fletcher got confused. He had Moxley on the ropes, was going in for the kill, and was looking for that screwdriver. But Okada used it in the match before, took it, stole it away from him, stole the moment from Fletcher, and that allowed Moxley to pick up a shock win. Unreal,
With
man.
the quote unquote screwed ending of the Takeshita versus Okada match and the overall performance of that match, I could definitely see this being a trilogy,
It
100%,
has to be.
tenfold. And it like with the continental stakes not on the line, these two can just go at it
Yeah.
purely to win, which could add a different element to the match as well. So I'm not mad about the veteran in Okada taking down Takeshita in the first match, as long as we get a second one to see what Takeshita can bring to the table in
Hmm.
just a regular no stakes match where these guys can just brawl.
Oh
And
yeah.
as far as Moxley taking down Fletcher, I'm pretty excited. Moxley's been tangling with the mid-carders more so in the
Yeah.
last year, and he hasn't had that top championship for a little bit. So I'm glad that he's getting some gold. Um, as we'll talk about later in the Okada Moxley
Talk
match.
about a spoiler. Jeez.
My bad. I'm just stoked to see Moxley back into the championship image.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm very excited to see Moxley take down Fletcher because Fletcher's going to be fine. He's still in a
Oh yeah.
young career. He's one of the top heels in all of wrestling
Oh
right
yeah.
now, one of the top performing heels as far as matches go. And I think it was overall a good move to get the more experienced guys in the Continental Classic together. And
Yeah.
overall, it put on a great championship match as well.
And that's the thing. It's perfect dynamics in these semifinal matchups because you got iron sharpening iron. You got two seasoned veterans, easily two of the best in the last decade, battling it out with the two guys that are going to lead wrestling into the next 10 years. And if Takeshita is going to be kind of the face of global wrestling going forward with those dual contracts in Japan, in North America, Fletcher is probably going to be the foil to him, the contrast to Takeshita. And man, I just can't wait to see how that plays out. But the pay per view keeps on rolling. FTR defeats Juice Robinson and one of the Gunn brothers, Austin, I want to say. They look so similar.
Very
It's hard
much
to tell
so.
them apart, but it was a brutal throwback brawl, a Chicago street fight, blood, weapons. This was really vicious, but FTR, they can make anything look as real and painful as possible while being some of the safest workers around. Just a great match there. Babes of Wrath up against Mercedes Moné and Athena for the AEW Women's Tag titles. Just a solid match all around. Babes of Wrath, they're like the most faces of all time. You can't not root for them. Just delightful, cheerful, positivity all around. Just like the most easygoing, outgoing baby faces of all time. There's something wrong with you if you're not cheering for them. And yeah, they were able to defend their titles, continuing Mercedes Moné's recent losing streak, which she's starting to go on a bit of a downward spiral, and we've
She
seen
had a
throughout her
crash
career.
out
Yep, the
in
crash
the
out.
backstage, which was nuts. Who doesn't love a Mercedes Moné crash out?
And we've
But
seen through.
yeah,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
honestly could see this like keep tumbling like an avalanche, and we could get a Mercedes Moné face run in a little bit because she's been in the heel lane for quite a while.
Yeah.
She's been one of those wrestlers who can flop back and forth depending on the match and what that calls for between heel and face.
Mm-hmm.
But with such a consistent heel run right now and her tumbling and tumbling and tumbling, I could see her go like start to be rooted for almost, depending on how far AEW takes this arc.
Mm-hmm.
But who doesn't love the Babes of Wrath win? You can't help but root for him.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Monet's got plenty of titles left to lose,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh
throughout
yeah.
her career as Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné, she's kind of done her best work when she's this crash out, insane heel who has nothing left to lose. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Then we had total tonal change. We went into Gabe Kidd versus Darby Allin. Good Lord.
A
Yeah,
lot of blood lost.
get the
Holy.
kids out of the room for that. 18 plus, rated R for blood and guts. Like,
So many
man,
people looking for blood transfusions and all that going to waste.
like seriously, just a vicious, brutal match. It's one of the ones on this card that you just have to go and watch for yourself. Words can't do it justice. And you want to talk about PB and J? Darby Allin is a guy who wrestles like he's got a death wish. Gabe Kidd is a guy who wrestles like he's going to fulfill that wish.
Like a lot of AEW fans know like how much blood comes with a Darby Allin match in general, but there's something about this match that
Oh,
just went over, like that broke the scale of Darby Allin blood. And this
it would
if
make
you like
Moxley proud.
gore, yeah, it would make Cactus Jack proud.
Oh,
That's
man. Yeah. Don't let the kids watch that one.
yeah.
Then we got, again, total tonal shift. We had the conglomeration versus the Death Riders. Man, conglomeration and Tony Storm are like the ultimate team up. Just goofy good guys. Again, with the Babes of Wrath being in the conglomeration, it just makes sense. Goofy good guys that you just can't help but root for. Awesome stuff. I really genuinely thought Roderick Strong would turn here and join the Death Riders, but I was pleasantly surprised that he didn't. Kind of like biting the bullet, saving his newfound friends, and kind of
Mhm.
begrudgingly finally joining the conglomeration.
Yeah, it's been like several years that Roderick Strong could have left the then Undisputed Era and now in the conglomeration.
Hmm.
But yeah, we kind of talked about it last week as you brought it up in your Mount Rushmore. But Roderick Strong has that unique ability to mesh with any faction.
Oh yeah.
Like he could mesh with anybody in the ring. He could put on a great match with absolutely anybody.
Literally any style. It's kind of exciting to see him finally be accepted into the conglomeration or letting himself be accepted
Mhm.
as the straight man to all of this goofy absurdity going on. Man, that was just fun. And then we keep on rolling. Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter. That's a hoss fight.
What a
Power
match.
on power.
What a match.
Genuinely, like two of the strongest and hardest hitting wrestlers. Forget gender, throw that crap out the window. Two of the strongest and most powerful wrestlers in the business today going toe to toe. Man, again, this is the second match of the night where I'm just like, just go and watch it. Words don't
Yeah.
do it justice. Like, and I think something, just to give it credit, a hard hitting match, lots of big moves. I think a Falcon arrow off the top rope to Jamie Hayter. It looked like she was concussed for a second, but really it was just a good sell job. She was
This was
back on her
another one
feet.
that got set up at All Out in that fatal four-way between Tony
Mm-hmm.
Storm, Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and Thekla. And like in that match, you could tell, not like, let alone after Chris Statlander actually won the championship. In that match, you could tell the work that Statlander and Hayter were putting on. They could
Mm-hmm.
do such a good one-on-one match.
And we got
And
that.
we got it. We got it in less than a year. And or less than half a year, sorry.
Yeah,
And
matter of
oh my
months.
God, matter of months. And like neither of them had the title at that point, and we knew something was brewing between
Oh
those
yeah.
two, and they just hit every mark tonight.
Yeah. And as a quick little wrap up to the match, I think it really serves as a testament to both of those performers that the crowd started off a little quiet. I mean, they'd had a
Mhm.
rampant night of
Coming off a
action up to
goofy
that point.
conglomeration
Yeah.
match that like it was a while since you saw great technical stuff
Oh
from the
yeah.
Okada Takeshita and Fletcher and Mox. So there was a lot of gimmicky stuff in between there,
That's
and
fair.
they got blessed.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, quiet at the start, but roaring come the finish. Awesome, awesome stuff. And then the hits just keep on coming. Kazuchika Okada versus John Moxley in the Big 25. Good Lord, what have we done to deserve this?
Oh my God. Imagine 10 years ago thinking Kazuchika Okada was gonna fight the Lunatic Fringe. Oh my Lord. And put on a five-star classic for the Continental Championship. That is
Just
ridiculous.
insane. Tournament finals, an all-timer of a slow build. And if that's not your thing, I'd still say go and watch this match. Find the highlights because the slow technical work to start it off, the leg work by Okada on Moxley, just fantastic to start it off, and then it ramps up and ramps up, and the violence of Moxley starts to clash more with the hard hitting style of Kazuchika Okada. And again, the never say die attitude of Moxley rears its ugly head once more, and he just
Mhm.
doesn't give in. You know, just an all timer, each man shaking off the best of the other man. Just an insane comeback from Moxley. And in my eyes, basically redeemed all the early Death Riders controversy and screw finishes. Like, okay, I'm starting to see the vision now.
Mhm.
And then finally, like you mentioned, Cam, Mox with some gold around his waist once again. It just feels right.
It really shows the dynamics of Mox's character. Like he does get that hothead comparison to Prime Stone Cold Steve Austin, but like people really underrate his technical ability, and it
Yeah.
really showed tonight against one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, let alone in North American wrestling,
Oh,
in
yeah.
the world and for the last decade. So like to put on a five-star match and to come out on top is
Yeah.
huge for an
Over
already such
Okada.
established career.
Yeah. And then right afterwards, a promo from Moxley taking the mic from Tony Schiavone and really laying his heart out there. And like I mentioned earlier, anti-hero seems to be the aspect that's come out of World's End for Moxley, talking about how much he loves the 110% that the Continental Classic brings out of each and every one of the wrestlers and the fans and all of AEW, and how much grit and dedication it draws out of even, some of the lower down the card wrestlers like Jack Perry and, dare I say, Kevin Knight and Speedball, and really talking about how that kind of stuff is perfectly in line with what he and the Death Riders have been talking about and trying to bring about all along, is making everyone step up their game. And that's exactly what it's done. Like, just a stellar promo, selling the character, selling the dynamic. Speaking of, it's going to be really, really interesting to see where AEW goes in the new year with the Death Riders, because now you
Mhm.
have back to back matches with Moxley playing the underdog babyface, making the comeback, picking up the shock win. Again, never say die, never giving up against two of the world's best. An anti hero surrounded by heartless killers who genuinely attempted to take out permanently the conglomeration just a few matches ago. That is such an interesting dynamic, and I really look forward to seeing how things play out. And then we go to the main event. Holy Aura Batman. Each one of these guys looks like $1 million, wrestled like $1 million.
Such an aura farm, bro. Oh my
Oh,
God. The MJF entrance was bone chilling,
bone shattering.
bone shattering.
Oh, man. It's just insane. Each one of them genuinely looked like they could come out as champion and no one would bat an eye.
Mhm.
That's absurd. When you have four of those guys in your main event scene, not to mention a couple others waiting in the wings, not to mention a couple others on the shelf right now. Man, this AEW roster is stacked.
And nobody in the match was blocked off by some storyline. Like every single person had a shot to win this championship, and
Yeah,
every single person had a direction to go if they won. It
yeah.
was I haven't seen a match, especially a fatal four-way match with those characteristics in a very long time. You
Hmm.
always have like that top two, like going back to that fatal four way at all out. That clutch, she was not gonna come out on top. Jamie Hayter had that propeller on her, but she wasn't a huge contender to take her out. It was really Statlander who was getting a huge momentum push with the Death Riders, or obviously Tony Storm at the top of her game, whereas this one was literally four of the most popular wrestlers in the world today. And
Most
it
talented too.
most talented too. And oh my God, it
Man,
made me speechless, man. Holy
just
aura.
awesome spot after awesome spot, near falls, the storylines all
So
converging
much
together.
chemistry with everybody.
Exactly. And quick side note, speaking of chemistry, Hangman and Swerve are wrestling soulmates. They were
Yep.
meant to do this, and chances are they're going to keep doing this for the rest of their careers, and that is perfectly fine by me. Just such a great dynamic. Storylines again continuing with each one of these men. And then it's our boy, the giver of the show's theme song, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who walks away stealing the win from Hangman to pick up his second AEW World Championship.
It's been a minute. It's been a very long minute.
That it has.
MJF is one of the best mic workers, obviously, in the world
Oh,
today.
yeah.
He has, oh my God,
Skills to pay the bills.
skills to pay the bills, to say the least. Like we called it last week. We like as soon as MJF cashed in, we were like,
That's it.
time
I
is now.
called it.
Time is
I
now.
called it.
You
I
put the
put
house on it.
I
You
put
put all
all
your $5.
$5 in my bank account on MJF winning that match. Now look where we are.
God, if only you had $6.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, at least you made out with your $5 and you got an MJF title. So like
Oh, yeah.
kill two birds with one stone. That's
No
amazing.
complaints. Yeah, and again, so many storylines sprouting out of World's End. It'll be so cool to see where they take MJF in the new
MJF could
year.
have a MJF could have such a good rivalry with anybody. He could
Anyone,
have he
literally
could he
anyone.
he could put on a 3 month long promo with a lily pad, man. He oh my God. He could rustle anybody, he could talk with anybody, he could put on a great story with anybody. It's such a perfect person to come out of what was such a grand scale match and almost dial it down and roll things back as you get back into the main picture with like I don't know who he's gonna go after
Big Boom
because
AJ.
Big Boom AJ would put up a good fight.
The intrusive
Um,
thoughts.
yeah, I don't know if he'll like go into a trilogy even with any of these three guys. It could be a new guy coming into the picture.
I think
Who
so.
knows? But I think story-wise, it could be any of these three who just got beat.
Hmm.
Depending on what moments they pick in the match, one could be sour and come after MJF. Who knows? But I think it would be a very good idea to bring a new main eventer into the picture, possibly Kyle Fletcher. I would love to see
Ooh.
that promo battle, but
Hmm.
Kyle Fletcher had a chance against Hangman, so it really could be anybody at this point.
And that's the best part.
Mhm.
Unreal stuff. And the rest of the week in wrestling, not too shabby itself. I mean, things were a little on the down low just because it's the holiday week, big plans, pre-taped
Mhm.
shows, but still a
Three
few.
hour Raw and SmackDown coming in just a bit.
We don't want it. I'm sorry.
We not
Keep it
SmackDown.
bite-sized.
We're
Keep
we're gonna
wrestling
have we're
bite-sized.
gonna have three Aleister Black and Damian Priest matches per SmackDown for the next year. Aren't you excited?
Just just end me now. This is the end of the podcast.
Oh. And to think we got more Aleister Black and Damian Priest moments this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Let's let's go into SmackDown and have a deep, thought out analysis of this week's
Oh yeah.
SmackDown.
Well
And we're
researched too.
done. And we're done. Now
Wow,
let's go
what a
over to
great
Raw.
episode of SmackDown.
But
We
honestly, we
re
got we got some Trick Williams hints, which was pretty cool.
I like that.
Carmelo Hayes is the new United States champion, which is very, very productive
Hmm.
on the mid card battle. I saw some theories of them like hot switching the United States Championship until WrestleMania to really build up the mid card. I don't know
Okay.
if that's going to be a move because we see Johnny Gargano going after it. You could easily put back Sami Zayn. You could easily put back Ilya. You
Yeah.
could easily bring up Trick Williams and have a rivalry there. That is instant classic material with Trick and Carmelo obviously having history. But I think
Actually,
Carmelo. Yep.
I think that's going to be where they go with WrestleMania. US title, Trick and Mello.
I think that would be a fantastic WrestleMania level match if they're going to let Carmelo keep it that long. They've been really iffy on the reigns of the United States Championship. Only two of them in the last 3 years, I believe, have been over 100 days or over 150 days, and that was Austin Theory and Logan Paul. So that hasn't even been recent. So
No.
I could see Carmelo, depending on the hype he gets coming out of this and the hype they build.
Yeah,
I could see him bringing a long reign, maybe WrestleMania worthy.
I
But
think so.
as of right now, just happy to see him with gold on the main roster because it's been a long time coming for Melo.
Absolutely. And one of the top prospects in WWE, it's great to see him finally getting the confidence of the booking committee, letting him really show his stuff in a upper mid card level. He is just so good on the mic, in the ring. It's a perfect spot for him to really showcase what he brings to the table.
I really want him to go back to that slimy heel he was in NXT, like
It's
a
true.
Dolph Ziggler, AJ Styles type heel.
Mm,
That could maybe eventually carry him into the major championship contention.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Carmelo Hale or Carmelo Hayes as a babyface. That might be a hot take, but he just did such good work against Trick Williams and against Braun Breaker that I I just love his heel work so much more. It's kind of like, as I mentioned, AJ Styles, like he could be anything. He could be a heel
Hmm.
or a babyface, but that heel work he does is just so nuanced
It's
and
just that
so it's just
level
so
better.
dynamic. It's that level better, yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see that developing as Trick Williams comes up and maybe goes after him. I could see either of them being the heel, but I'd rather Mellow.
That's fair to say, honestly. Now, speaking of recent call-ups, Joe Hendry is finally on the main roster. We are so
With a
back,
bomb
baby.
song. Get this guy on the Billboard charts once again as he
Again,
disses The Miz.
if you know me, you know I love me some Joe Hendry. Oh, it's so good to see him on the main roster. Miz is the perfect opening feud for him. A perfect mid-card
Miz can
guy.
put on any superstar coming up.
I think that's honestly what his role is going to be in the next 2 years before his inevitable retirement.
They did it with
Gatekeeper.
Carmelo.
Gatekeeper. First Carmelo, now Hendry. He's going to be the guy that the call ups kind of feud with, mingle with, and then move on from to bigger and brighter things. No diss to The Miz, but that is exactly where he's needed right now. This veteran mentor that can help some of these younger rising stars through the motions in their first few months on the main roster. It's a perfect spot.
Now on to SmackDown in general, because I know it has not been anything near good recently, and it's probably getting more coverage than it already deserves. But I really want to point out how many injuries this roster has right now.
That's fair.
It is unreal how many big stars on SmackDown alone are out.
Yeah.
I looked up the most recent rosters. Bianca Belair is SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton is SmackDown. Um, oh my God, I gotta look it up again. There was like, it was endless. It was
Fatu?
endless. Fatu is SmackDown. He is out. There are a couple more main roster guys that are out for the count on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And like I think that brand just needs a breather. They need new stars. They need NXT call-ups bad.
No, we need Damian Priest and Aleister Black for another 6 months. Book it. No.
Oh, please don't, please don't, please don't.
Please,
Oh man.
WWE, we will do anything you ask us. Just don't book any more Aleister Black and Damian Priest matches.
Now, as we talk about this never-ending storyline between Aleister Black and Damian Priest, I want to talk a bit about my extremely hot take on where this angle is finally going to end up.
Do tell.
I personally think that they're going to remake the House of Black on SmackDown.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay,
we all
okay.
know that the game Triple H loves his factions. We all know that he's desperately trying to keep Aleister Black and Damian Priest near the upper echelon of the main Carters. And I think this will kind of go the direction that the Bar did with Sheamus and Cesaro. They had too many matches to count. They were in a massive rivalry, and Mick Foley was like, you know what? Put you guys together. You're going to be a tag team. And then they won tag team gold. But I think this faction right now, once they make up, it'll be Aleister Black, Damian Priest, Zelina Vega, and call me crazy. I want
Crazy.
Apollo Crews in this faction.
What?
Apollo Crews
In the
still on
Big
the roster.
25?
Apollo Crews still on the SmackDown roster.
No,
Does
he's not.
great. Yeah, he is.
No.
As of right now, he is on the SmackDown roster and he's getting no burn. He was putting on great matches as a heel in the early 2020s, and they just shut him down again.
It's true.
And I think he could be a great mix as like I don't know if they would go heel or if they would go face. It would
Tweener.
depend how they yeah, it would definitely be a tweener, kind of like the Wyatt family was. They could be on either side of a heel or a face rivalry, perhaps with the Wyatt Six. But yeah, I think the House of Black was a fantastic faction
Oh,
in
yeah.
AEW, and the guys in the House of Black in AEW are very similar to the aura and the makeup of Apollo Crews, Damian Priest, and Aleister Black, as well as Zelina Vega, to be added into the mix. But
Okay.
yeah, there's my hot take for how this rivalry is going to end. Because it's not going to end on a WrestleMania match. It's not going to
No.
end on
Dear
another
God, I hope
PLE
not.
match. It's not even going to end on a match. They're going to join up. That's the only option to where it could finally case close, shut this rivalry down, and Apollo Crews will probably not be a part of it. I just want him to get some burn because he looked pretty good in the early 2020s. But
Of
this could
course.
easily just be Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, and Damian Priest, and it could be a great House of Black type faction.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah,
That's a good take.
back to those injuries. Kevin Owens is still out too, and he's on SmackDown.
Oh,
So that is four major championship contenders out on the SmackDown roster. It's not even mid carders, let
no.
alone mid. There's a few mid carders out for the count on SmackDown too, which is insane. Like, oh man, the Golden Boy Elton Prince is still out. Dang it.
Mm.
Let him
Injustice.
recover. I know Raw's not doing great with injuries as well right now. JD McDonough's still out, Chad Gable's still out, Penta's still out, but like to have four of your top-notch men and women out is just tough to recover from, with Drew
Yeah.
being the only one being pushed for a major title reign, even though I think like it's sitting right at your fingertips. Give Randy Orton this frickin' fight. get your legacy rematch or legacy match between Cody
Hmm.
Rhodes and Randy Orton before Cody loses this championship to Drew McIntyre because he just dissed Dusty on SmackDown. Like, this is such a gimme. We've been waiting for this since Cody got back.
And we
Why
haven't
has
got it.
Randy not fought Cody other than the King of the Ring match? It's ridiculous.
Doesn't
I
make
thought
sense,
Randy was
man.
going to take it before the John Cena heel run. And then
Yeah,
John Cena turned heel, and obviously that wet
that
the
was a
bed.
thing.
And yeah, that was a very big thing. But yeah, it's such a no-brainer. I don't know why they haven't done it, especially with the history Triple H has with Legacy. He knows the chemistry those two have.
Yeah,
I don't know why you just don't slap them together and call it one of the best feuds of the year this
easy
early.
money. Easy
So,
money.
yeah, there's a lot of missed calls. There's a lot of pulled punches on SmackDown.
Yeah.
You could blame it on injuries. You could blame it on bad promotion. You could blame it on just being the second brand of WWE. But I think they have a chance to come back. Um, who knows? Some of these guys could come back in the Royal Rumble, but with that just around the corner, there's my SmackDown take, giving it way more coverage than it
And it
already
deserves.
deserves. But there's my spiel. I want like SmackDown was my favorite brand. There was just something about it, something like underdog about SmackDown in the mid 2010s, and it's just complete
It's
horse
gone.
crap now that you like. I don't
Game's
even
gone.
know. The game is gone. What to do on Fridays.
Well, let me tell you, you could think up people, folks, matches, feuds, storylines to put in your Mount Rushmore. Yes, king of the segues, baby. So,
Yes.
this week, our Mount Rushmore, drum roll please, is hidden gem matches. Some of the underrated diamonds in the dirt that haven't really got their shine as time has gone on. There's some good ones out there, and I think we've dug up just a few that'll keep you entertained. Would you like to start, Cam?
I
Deep
can
breath.
start. I can
That's a
start.
good start. That's always a promising start.
There are some major PLE matches on mine that still go under the radar. Perhaps to perhaps not to some people, but in my opinion, these have definitely gone way underrated. One of them being a Royal Rumble, which
The what now?
is a hot take. It is a very hot take,
Okay.
but I'm saying the 2001 Royal Rumble is one of those lost gems. People talk about the 2008 Royal Rumble being fantastic, the talks of the 2020 Royal Rumble being the greatest of all time. There's something about ECW guys coming into the Royal Rumble with trash cans, with baby dolls, with kendo sticks. There's just something about it that oozes aura. And
Okay.
iconic Kane run where he had 11 eliminations. It was always in the by the numbers highlight reel before every Royal Rumble until Roman Reigns beat it in 2014. But the
Mm-hmm.
2001 Royal Rumble is just Stone Cold's third win. Not incredible stars as far as the Attitude Era goes that came into that Royal Rumble, which causes it to go a bit under the radar. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I think it's a lost gem. It doesn't get talked about nearly enough as one of the best Royal Rumbles um, in WWE history,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm adding it to my list.
Very nice.
I got um another group match on my list. It's one of my favorite matches of my young WWE watching career.
Please let it be
I'm gonna
WLC.
go close. It's very close. I think it might be the same pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
But I'm saying the New Day versus the Usos versus the Lucha Dragons at TLC
Ooh.
2015. Don't quote me on it. It's around the same time as WLC,
Okay.
but that's Kalisto doing the Salida del Sol off the ladder. My brain
Oh
was
yeah.
rattling after that match. The Lucha Dragons are such an underrated tag team of the 2010s. They were,
Oh yeah.
oh my God, they were like Bandito and they were Mascara Dorada and they were Ricochet and they were, oh my, they were all of the Luchas before
Everything, man.
they made it to the big stage. Kalisto and Sin Cara really were forerunners as far as big time lucha.
Yeah.
And they put on such a good match with arguably the top two tag teams of the last 2 decades in the New Day and the Usos. And it was just, it was gold. It was gold before we like
Before we knew it was gold.
before we knew it was that. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. This was at the start of New Day's, by God, iconic run. It was as they were coming up. The
Mm-hmm.
Usos, I think as soon as they started the day one gimmick, which was, in my opinion, my favorite era of the Usos. And
Yep.
then, as I said, the Lucha Dragons, one of the most exciting tag teams of that time. And that doesn't go, that's never shouted in the same vein as the TLC matches, the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian. It's not uttered in the iconic Money in the Bank matches. It's not uttered in those same veins, and I think it deserves to be.
Very nice.
Now on to the WrestleMania match that I think goes way under the radar in both of these guys' careers. Um, both of them in kind of a shadowy section of both of their careers, nowhere near the top of their game per se. They weren't rookies or anything at this time, but nowhere near their peak. I'm going Randy Orton versus CM Punk at WrestleMania 27.
Okay.
Was the RKO off the elbow drop, closing out New Nexus CM Punk right before the Summer of Punk. Randy Orton grabs another WrestleMania win. This was my first pay-per-view that I ever watched as a WWE fan. This match is what made me a Randy Orton guy till the day I die.
I respect that.
And this one was just such a core memory for me as far as WWE watching goes. And I still think it goes under the radar in the scale of CM Punk matches and the scale of Randy Orton matches. And I think it deserves to be talked about in that same vein. Now on to my fourth pick, which may be a deep cut, um, maybe a no-brainer for some hardcore wrestling watchers who rewatch a lot of matches
Let's hear
on
it.
YouTube, and I've watched this one plenty of times. We're going to Lucha Underground 2016, Pentagon Jr., now Penta, versus Prince Puma, now Ricochet, on a random episode of Lucha Underground. This match
Game's
is one of my
back.
go-tos when I'm feeling down, when I want to watch some good wrestling, when I want to just watch some guys flip around a wrestling ring. I watch this match. Penta, at this time, he was a bit younger, could fly a little bit more, could keep up with a guy like Prince Puma or Ricochet. Screw it, I'm gonna call him Ricochet because this is the only one I know him as Prince Puma.
It's fair.
But yeah, Penta and Ricochet, they're such like at this time, obviously they were really big lucha, but they're such good technical wrestlers too. They don't only rely on flipping, and the technical abilities combined with the athletic abilities in this match is so core to that
Yes.
style of wrestling. If you want to watch a lucha match, this is it. This encapsulates the best of that style of wrestling. It's really making a renaissance now with Bandito and Mascara Dorada, really pulling that style back up into the stratosphere. And this is just historic for that style of wrestling and that era of wrestler to come back into the main roster. And
Yes.
oh man, my grandpa showed me it when I was like, how old was I? Like 12? Yeah, 12 or 13 years old. And I still watch it on YouTube.
Wait, your
Like at
grandpa
that,
showed you Lucha Underground?
yeah,
Big ups,
yep.
grandpa.
Big ups to Papa Rick. But yeah, Lucha Underground, so slept on. Matt Stryker was
Yes.
calling that match. What a forgotten name in the broadcasting world of wrestling. Underrated guy, underrated voice. But
Absolutely.
yeah, Prince Puma versus Pentagon Jr. Lucha Underground, February 17th, 2016.
Man, how am I going to follow that up? We got a Lucha Underground mention on the pod. We may just have to do a deep dive episode some
We
point in
might
the
have to do
future.
a Lucha
A
Underground
Lucha
deep
Underground
dive.
episode. Man, it is so good to hear that name again. All right. I don't know how I'm going to follow that up, but I am going to try with my Mount Rushmore of hidden gem matches. I'm going to kick things off strong with one of the best blood feuds of the 2010s. We are talking Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae at
Oh,
TakeOver Toronto
oh
2019.
man.
Talk about slept
Oh,
on.
this
People
was before
don't talk
I
about
was
this.
up on Io Shirai game.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I did not learn myself some before that Mae Young Classic and before Io Shirai made a name for herself on the North American circuit.
Yeah. This is the match.
Blows my mind.
Like star making performance in this one, and genuinely it's a story, but you can feel the story in this match, vicious, brutal, laying it all on the line to try and pick up a victory. Insane stuff, and that's what really sold me on Io Shirai, or Io Sky now, as this main event level player in wrestling. Just an insane match. Again, yet another one of those ones where words don't do it justice. Just look up the highlights, folks. Now, we are going even deeper in the cut with
Love it.
a Mae Young Classic match
No way.
from 2018. I am talking facts about Miko Satomura versus Tony Storm. 2018, the year that, I mean, we had
The
Io
year we
Shirai
sold
versus
the
Tony
bag with
Storm.
Tony Storm.
Yep.
Do
And
you
again,
believe Kota Ibushi was in the freaking Cruiserweight Classic too and Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack
and we
Sabre
lost to
Jr.
all of them? Ridiculous.
Again, Cruiserweight Classic. We'll save that for another episode. That
So many
deserves a
names in that
whole
match. So
unpacking.
many names. Oh my God. And TJP won it. Are you freaking kidding me? Okay, back
Like
to the Mae Young. Back to the Mae Young.
Mae Young, yeah, just a stellar match. Miko Satomura, literally, her nickname in Japan is the final boss. Like, just a bad ass. One of the
Tony Storm
hardest
was only
hitting
like
female
20
wrestlers.
years old at this point, too.
Yeah,
She was very young when she entered the Mae Young.
like it's insane looking back on it now with a fresh set of eyes, seeing Miko Satomura in her prime coming over from Japan to put over a young Tony Storm who already was showing glimpses of the star that she would and is right now. Star that she would become, I should say.
God,
Just
I completely forgot about the Mae Young Classic matches. There's probably two or three that I could have added into mine. That oh, so
a
legendary.
treasure
Like
trove.
any Kairi Sane match from that bracket could have
Oh
made my
yeah, from
list.
that time period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely again, look it out, look it up, find those highlights online because this is probably one of the first examples in a mainstream US company of that hard hitting
Hmm.
Joshi style you see in Japan, where it doesn't matter what gender
And
you
this was
are,
our
fists
first
are being
taste of
thrown.
Triple H creative too.
Yeah.
Like the first thing Triple H had when he got into the NXT producer chair and he got the chance to put on something, he put on the Cruiserweight Classic and Mae Young Classic. And
Mm-hmm.
it was so telling of the type of stories and the type of matches Triple H wants to put on as a creative director.
Yeah. All right, going further back in time, the cut gets deeper. We are talking about Ring of Honor's Samoa Joe up against Pro Wrestling Noah's Kenta Kobashi in 2005.
God, Ring of
Whew!
Honor Samoa Joe is a different breed.
Different beast.
Different breed. Oh my God.
Yeah, you had Joe 2005, not even in the prime of his career yet, not even making his mark in TNA just yet, pulling out all the stops as this unbeatable killer going up against Kenta Kobashi, one of the hardest hitting strikers in wrestling history. Like, you look at Gunther's wrestling style now, Kobashi was the prototype for it in the 90s and
Mhm.
2000s. Chops with no mercy, strikes that have no end, and submissions that'll make you scream for your mother. Kenta Kobashi had it all and laid the framework for Gunther or Walter, depending on what you want to call him. Kenta Kobashi really had it all. And for these two hosses to throw down in 2005, when Kobashi was in the
On
renaissance
Ring of
period of
Honor.
his career, his one of his two appearances in Ring of Honor in America, period, was against Samoa Joe. And I
No
wasn't
wonder he
gonna
came
reveal
over
the
here.
I wasn't gonna reveal the event name because it would give it away. But the event was literally just called Joe versus Kobashi. It sells itself, folks.
Hmm.
Chops, hard hitting, back and forth, really has it all. And then my pièce de résistance, the peak of my hidden gems matches, I should say, plural, is TNA Turning Point 2008, Falls Count Anywhere, or yeah, Falls Count Anywhere, Kurt Angle versus the
Oh,
Monster Abyss.
oh, Perk Angle, man. Perk
Peak Angle.
Angle.
Man, Kurt Angle, it's insane to hear the stories about him at this time where his
I
body was a
wish I
mess.
watched TNA Kurt Angle
Yep.
live. That he like I know he was not good mentally,
No.
but holy cow, he was a monster.
Like, it's one of those things. You read the stories about how at that time the injuries were piling up, the drug abuse and addiction was piling up. Like, he needed help lacing his boots and putting on his
Yeah.
gear every single night. But then he goes out and does a flipping somersault dive off the stage onto Abyss. He does table spots, weapon spots, technical spots with Abyss, who in his own right is a totally underlooked and underrated wrestler. Just
He'd be on
absurd
my
stuff.
TNA Mount Rushmore, 100%.
He has to be.
Both of them probably. But
Yeah.
like the dedication that Abyss brought to TNA was unmatched compared to any other wrestler there.
And it was such a unique dynamic because Kurt was the heel, Abyss was the face. This was
Yeah.
the starting point of the whole main event mafia takeover arc back in the mid 2000s for TNA. So you got Kurt as this just destructive force, wiping out everything in his path, the wrestling machine. And yet he was playing the David to Abyss's Goliath. And that made for such an interesting dynamic. And like I said, Falls Count Anywhere. There was weapons, there was technical stuff. You had Kurt Angle doing somersault flips off the stage. What more do I need to tell you for you to go and seek out this match? It's a
No wonder
classic.
Kurt Angle needed frickin' painkillers.
You don't say, but
Oh
then
my God.
as soon as he steps out into that arena, it all fades away and he is the wrestling machine. Man, just go look it up. It's an all-time classic that doesn't get enough love.
Well, I think you went way deeper into your bag of tricks than I did. I know I called out Lucha Underground because I miss it so much, but holy cow, the pulls on this podcast.
It's what I do. It's what we do.
It's what we do.
All right, from one specialty segment to another, Cam, why don't you break down for the folks at home what the dream match generator is?
Well, on this podcast, we're going through the Dream Match Generator where me and Josh are coming in with four dream matches. Could be different eras, could be different promotions, could be both. Who knows? Just pick two wrestlers that would put on a five-star match. Now, Josh, I let off Mount Rushmore. You take the reins. What are your dream matches?
All right, we are starting strong with what the folks at home might call foreshadowing. I mentioned Gunther. I mentioned Kenta Kobashi. You can see where this is
Oh,
leading.
why not stick them together?
Why not? Literally the same wrestler. Mountains of men throwing unlimited
Now,
amounts of
would you
chops
rather
at each other.
Walter or Gunther?
Oh, give me Walter. Give me Walter versus Kenta Kobashi. You want to talk about a mountain of a man? Give me Walter. When he had a little meat on his bones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's a
man.
little husky.
And that, hey, there was nothing wrong with that. It made the chops and the strikes even more impactful, and those feats of agility even more impressive. And yeah, that is a dream match on every single level. Give me late 2010s Walter versus early 2000s Kenta Kobashi, and I will be a happy podcaster. All right, moving things along, we're going to switch up the styles a little bit with Kurt Angle versus Bryan Danielson. You're telling me that the only time these two crossed paths was in the greatest Royal Rumble? That's it.
What a shame.
That's the
What a
only
shame.
time.
Were they GMs at the time? I swear
Honestly, they
both of
might
them
have
were
been, yeah.
GMs at the same time. What a loss. Oh, man.
Yeah, seriously. Give me peak TNA Kurt Angle against literally any iteration of Daniel Bryan slash Bryan Danielson, and they can put on a 6-star classic. Blow the scales away. Just give me those two. Let them duke it out in a technical battle, in a battle of strikes, a battle of strength, agility. You name the kind of match that you want these two to have, and I guarantee you they could pull it off in each of their respective primes. That is a dream match and a absolute shame that no one ever pulled the trigger on it, that nothing was done to bring them together. Man, there were reports floating around that in my research, I did notice that when Kurt Angle was a free agent around 2006, there were talks of him going to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, one of the most prominent indie
Oh,
promotions,
man.
to face Danielson. Early 2000s Danielson versus
That's
peak
peak
Angle.
Perk Angle. Oh, my God.
Man.
In,
But
in a high school gym.
hey, the Reseda, California Armory,
To be
the Legion
alive. To
Hall.
be alive. Oh, my.
Yeah, it is a shame that that match has never happened. But you want to talk about missed opportunities? I'm talking about a hardcore death match between John Moxley and Mick Foley.
Oh, God.
How has that never happened? Like,
Inject that into my veins.
straight in, baby. Just nothing needs to be
I
said.
can't even imagine what those two would do.
The
Oh
violence.
my God. We thought the Darby Allin Gabe Kidd match was a lot of blood. That one would need
Oh,
two ambulances.
you're going to need blood transfusions on standby.
That's
But and
ridiculous.
that's the thing. It's going to be a coherent and well-told story through these
Oh my
acts of
God, yeah.
gruesome violence. Man, what a match that would be. And then closing it out in the cleanup spot. I want to talk about a women's dream match. You want to talk about the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. You want to talk about power, poise, and precision for female wrestlers. I want to talk Rhea Ripley versus Awesome Kong. Give me that match now.
Oh man.
That is just
Two
absurdity.
behemoths.
Exactly. The power, the strength. Man, that would just be a sick, sick match. And I am all for it. All right, Cam, take us home. What have you got for
Well,
us?
let me start off with a no-brainer. I think this is on everybody's list. I want to give it a shout out. It's another Kurt Angle dream match. Give me Kurt Angle versus Chad Gable. This has been in the talks for years. This has been in the talks ever since Kurt Angle became the GM, and surprisingly, they gave Kurt Angle's son to Chad Gable's teammate in Jason Jordan, which is absurd because they are carbon copies of one another. But especially now, like prime Chad Gable
Oh
right
yeah.
now versus peak Kurt Angle. Oh my God. Feed families. Feed families.
Feed villages.
Feed villages. I think that one's fairly self-explanatory.
Oh yeah.
As you said with Kobashi and Gunther, they are just carbon copies, styles, carbon copy of move sets. And yeah, they would just it would just be such an equal match. On to my second one. This one is arguably still very possible. This one has been on my mind for the last few weeks, actually, before I even came up with this gimmick. Give me Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Two very fast, two very strong, very big monsters.
You're
Their
speaking my
move set,
language.
their move set is so unique to them and a very select group of people. You could lump Braun Breaker into that, but Braun obviously already had a match or two with Obafemi. Um, but yeah, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar.
Straight in.
It honestly could happen. It could very well happen in the next couple of years, depending on how fast they push Obafemi. But
Tell you what, that could reasonably be Brock's retirement.
I wouldn't count it out. They could just hand it to Gunther like every other career-ending match, but once again, it all depends on how fast they push Obafemi.
Hmm.
And yeah, I would love to see the ruler versus the beast. Oh my Lord. This one, my strikingly my only crossing plat or promotion crossing match out of my dream matches. I got a very technical masterpiece as well as a high flying masterpiece.
All right.
I got Will Ospreay versus Eddie Guerrero.
Okay, that
This
one's
is
interesting.
straight out of WCW. Technical Eddie Guerrero, teaming with Dean Malenko, teaming with Chris Benoit level Eddie Guerrero against the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. Once again,
Wow.
self-explanatory. A lot of people forget the technical ability that Eddie Guerrero brings with such a short career in
Hmm.
WWE. And obviously, his finisher being the frog splash, you instantly think high flyer,
Yeah.
but he was a 240-pound technical guy. And coming out of WCW, that was his go-to style
Hmm.
of wrestling. And I think he could put on a absolute five-star classic with arguably the best technical wrestler working today in Will Ospreay. That could be a very hot take, but I think it's safe to say that's arguably Will Ospreay right now. And I don't know, just their dualities when it comes to high flying and technical wrestling. They're two of the best wrestlers to put those two together.
That
And
is
finally,
really good.
I have a women's match. Once again, I think these two are carbon copies of each other. One's a bit more technically gifted than the other, but I, I don't know. I think these are two of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. One being very new too, which so excited to see her join the main roster. I talked about it earlier. One of the best finishers in wrestling right now.
Let's
I got
hear it.
Sol Rika versus Lita. Now,
Woo.
two, once again, high flying women's wrestlers, which is kind of lacking as far as the women's wrestling game right now. There's not a large amount of pure high flyers in the technical and very gifted women's wrestling landscape right now with the Lyra Valkyrias and the Bianca Belairs and the Charlotte Flairs and Becky Lynch's. I mean, you could go on and on and on about how technically gifted. Oh my God, Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné. I'm gonna stop now before I get in to how technically gifted the women's roster is, and these two are
That
Jesus.
that's a perfect pairing right there.
That like this. Oh my God, they would put they all they. I'm
The
so
high flying, the
speechless.
risk taking. It's all there. It's self-explanatory.
It's just such a dream match, man. Sol Ruka can put on a 5-star match with anybody. Lita, a pioneer in
Hmm.
bringing women's wrestling to life, and I think Sol Ruka fits her style
Yeah.
so well. And that's my last dream match. Kind of made me speechless near the end. Jesus.
What a high to go out on, and what a high to wrap up this episode with. Cam, why don't you break it down for the folks at home what we've got coming up just around the corner in the new year?
Well, as you mentioned, the new year comes to, or 2025, I should say, comes to a close. I can't remember if this episode or this upcoming episode will be before or after the 3 hour Raw and the 3 hour SmackDown. I believe it's going to be before. So we'll see what
Yes. Yeah.
happens in the week to come. We'll obviously be going over our ace of the week, our flop of the week this week in wrestling. And as far as the specialty segments goes, we're going to do push or bury. You're going to come to me with a few a few mid-card wrestlers, I should say. And I'll come to you with a few mid-card wrestlers as well. And we're going to decide, we're going to analyze if they should be pushed or they should be buried.
Oh, very nice.
And as for next week's Mount Rushmore, we're going over the best New Year's moments. There's plenty of Raws, plenty of SmackDowns, plenty of Dynamites, possibly with iconic New Year's moments. Obviously, there's a short career in AEW compared to WWE and TNA, which might have a bigger haul to go over. But next week's Mount Rushmore to celebrate the new year, we're going to go over our favorite New Year's moments in any wrestling promotion. Any last words, Josh Alderman?
You make that sound like a threat. Is there something I don't know
Who
about?
knows if this New Year's, if this last week of 2025 is as bad as this week, I might have a chip on my shoulder next episode. So either
Enjoy
I
the
get House
podcast,
of
Josh. It'll be
Black,
your last.
if I get either I get House of Black or I'm showing at your house.
Understood. Yes, sir.
So you better hope that Aleister Black and Damian Priest do something next Friday.
Any last words? Oof. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, stay
And
warm.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, happy new year. We'll be seeing you around the
Hmm.
corner. So yeah, and MJF is your new AEW World Champion. Yes, we are
The
so
world is
back,
good.
baby.
The world is good. The world is right
All is
side
right.
up once again. And
All
happy
is right.
Stranger Things week. So, with all that, this week's episode of the Superkick Society comes to a close. I've been Cam Sterling, joined by Josh Alderman, and we'll see you next week.